Okay, we are on The Dream, and I am talking to Jimmy.
Hello.
So I want to know, who is the real Jimmy? Tell me a bit about your family, your upbringing, your background.
How much time have we got?
We've got about 6 minutes. Go for it.
6 minutes.
Not all for that question.
Where do I start? Well, I'll
Start by bringing your microphone in just a little bit.
All right. Won't come any further. That means I have to go.
So just take your time, Jimmy. You know.
Sorry, dead air and all that,
You've
innit?
only got 5 minutes
Oh, there you
now.
go.
Yeah.
So we just
Make
lose
it
your
quick.
childhood, little bit of your childhood.
So which bit? Where do I start? I start from.
Where do you start? What's your family like? What were you brought? How were you brought up? Christian background? Not. He's just.
You were going to say, how were you born then, were you?
No.
It sounded like it.
Well, my parents were Greek Cypriots. And completely and utterly just not couldn't speak the lingo, brought us into this country, myself and my 3 siblings. And my dad was a chippy, my mum was a machinist, and they sort of struggled to get their heads around the culture they sort of dropped us all in. So it was quite a difficult time. Both my sort of elder brothers got heavily involved in drugs and drink and all that sort of stuff in the sort of 60s. It never touched me, incredibly enough. That's kind of how we grew up in the East End of London. Very rough, really, really tough kind of place to grow up, especially if you're, got immigrant bits connected to you. So, but I learned how to do that, and became very connected to God when I was very small. Actually, probably when I was about, I don't know, 7 or 8. Both my parents were from the Greek Orthodox Church, so they were fairly heavily into religion. And all the sort of format and the legalism that goes along with that. And again, for some weird reason, I never really became affected by their legalism. I used to go along to the church because I had to, because they went. And they used to have this weird ritual. If you know anything about Orthodox Church, you kind of walk in and you have to walk up to these pictures and kiss these pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is really a bit weird, really. For a 7-year-old kid, that's weird. You know? You walk in and you do the old cross thing, and there are these pictures there, and there's all this like smeared lipstick on from all the hundreds of people that have kissed. There's sort of saliva dripping
all the
down
germs
the sides.
and bacteria.
It never really, surprisingly enough, it never really appealed to me. So although I did do it, obviously I certainly started questioning, what the point was. Really, I actually went up to a vicar once and I said, a minister, not a vicar. And said, what's all this about? Why'd you have to do that? And he laughed because I was only 7. And I'm saying, what'd you have to do that for? What's the point of it? How does that relate and connect to Jesus? How does it connect to God? What's it got to do with God, really? He never really had a valid reason. It was just kind of what they did. So that was the kind of the beginning of my questioning, even at that young age, of this sort of the legal structure of religion, how it relates to Christianity, and if it does at all, really.
And I read something actually about you. When you were 8, you built your first guitar.
I did.
So you did start young. So is that when you got your passion for music as well?
No, I seem to have always. It's quite odd. My relationship with God seems to be a bit weird, really. I guess so. I'm told. I seem to have always had a conversation, with God and Jesus since I was a baby, from as long as I can remember.
Wow.
I've always had an open line of communication, and it's quite funny because when I became born again, it changed, and that was odd because I'd had this very close, very one-on-one relationship, just really one-on-one relationship with God, from the youngest age, and singing was part of. It was an output. It was, it was part of that relationship. Really, it just felt like a natural part, even at that age. And it wasn't until I became a born again Christian, when I first came into that structure, that I actually lost sight of some of that. I lost sight of some of that one-on-one kind of person-to-person relationship, because there are all these other things came into the sort of frame, and it was almost like, well, you can't really get to God unless you follow this particular format, and you can't really have a relationship with God unless you sing choruses like this or hymns like that, and and that was always became a big stumbling block for me. And it wasn't until I sort of got much older and much more mature in my Christian walk, and actually recognised that God was kind of a bit beyond other people's structures, really. So music was always a very integral part of my whole life from the youngest age, and I've performed really since I was 18.
Well, yeah, it says you've been, you were in a band called Life Wind, or you wrote heavily for them, yeah. And now you're doing a lot of worship leading as well. Tell us what you're doing right now. I know there's not a typical week, but try and describe a typical week.
Gosh.
Not easy.
No, my life seems to be an explosion of things all the time, really. I mean, that's how I seem to operate. I seem to kind of, because I was here listening to you saying about foster care. Well, up to about 9 months ago, I was involved in running an organisation that ran children's homes.
Right.
So I actually owned children's homes, which seems like a bit of a bizarre thing to be doing. And there's a massively long story, which I won't bore you with, how I got into that. I've been in youth work since I was, I don't know when, really, for donkey's years. Done church youth work. I used to do youth work for about 9 churches in South Devon. So my life's always been this kind of mad kind of thing of all sorts of mad things going on at the same time. And at this particular moment in time, I obviously have Dimitri, which is just a major full-on thing. I mean, this 2 weeks that we're involved in at the minute are just crazy. We got, can I say Spring Harvest? Is that right to say?
Yeah, you said it now.
Am I allowed to say Spring Harvest? So I'm doing Spring Harvest. We've got 4 gigs in Spring Harvest, doing 2 in Minehead, 2 in Skegness, where we're doing new wine. We also got a stand at Spring Harvest. We've got recording going on. We've got promotion for the album going. It's just immense.
Which I have a copy here.
The album.
Ooh, and I think one's going to go home in a handbag.
Oh yeah. I get a chance.
Freebies.
Brilliant. So you are a very busy man.
It's very busy at the moment. And I've
But
got
it's
7
born
kids
from
as well.
worship. And 7 kids. Oh my gosh. To end, I wanted to read out this quote because it's just fantastic. Dimitri's blue-eyed soul stylings ooze authority. What a great quote. I read that and I just thought, that's great, the authority of God.
Thank you, Tony Cummins.
Was that from him? Okay, we're going to move on now to the next track, and it is Audio Adrenaline, Get Down. Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Sing. I was just giving you a bit of a larging of the head there.
It was, what?
Just ignore me. What track are you going to sing for us? Is it on the album? And tell us a little bit about it before you sing
Which
it,
bit do you want me
darling.
to answer first? There were several there. There were several questions.
I just thought I'd make it hard for you,
Oh, no, you won't get away with that. But
Tell us all about the track you're going to do. Is that more simple for you?
I'm doing Get Yourself Together now.
Okay, is that on here?
Yes.
Fantastic. I went to look on the back for the names and there's no names.
It's not there, no. We wanted to make it. See, what you've got is you've got a reverse kind of like, do for what's it there. So it's just kind of, it makes it intriguing. It's intriguing, not confusing.
It is,
intriguing.
because you want to read what's inside, but you can't
You wanna
because
buy
it's
one.
got the cellophane on it.
Yeah, it makes you want to buy one. It's got a wrapper, yeah.
It's got a wrapper. Yo, yo.
Yo.
Yeah, you want to buy one to see what's inside it, and that's the whole idea.
You do.
And it's very good.
I'm
You haven't listened to it, have you?
I haven't, because no one sent me one, you see, Rick. No one sent me
Yeah, Rick. It's all your fault, Rick.
But you know what? Enough about us. Will you sing this song?
I will,
for
yeah, if
us?
you want me to.
Because I think that's just going to explain what this is all about.
I have to say though that it's I've been driving since I don't know what time. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm very tired. So
do you want us to?
I'm just not. I don't offer this by way of excuse or anything.
No,
but,
no. You just want some sympathy, don't
Yeah.
you? Aww. But that's enough. Get on
Bit
with
more
it.
sympathy.
No. Get on with
Jimmy.
it. What's he like anyway? These flipping East London boys.
These rock stars.
I've got respect to you because I'm from Essex, right close to East London.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
respect to you, peeps.
That's the posh part.
The posh part. If that's posh, flip. Go for it. Jimmy Catering Dimitri.
You're a dreamer and a schemer. Some say a believer. So well, I've seen you from both sides. Your face says whatever you want it to be. You don't fool me. You don't fool anyone. Least of all him. You better get yourself together now. Don't you go believing the lie that you are free to pacify me. You're a healer, so you're saying, superficially praying to what I've seen you displaying. It's nothing more than a social exercise. You act real wise, like your wisdom is a prophecy from the three. Get yourself together now. Don't you leave the lie. This is me. I gotta be free. I ain't gonna fly away. It's all gonna change today. I touch the memory of how I used to be. I ain't gonna fly away. Ain't gonna fly away. I gotta get it back from this altered state of authenticity. Yeah. You're a seeker of attention. I'd never happen to mention all you're praying and you're saying it's just a fix, just a drug to get you high. Don't ask why. It's a mystery to me. Get yourself together now. Open up your eyes and you will see something inside me. I ain't gonna fly away. It's all gonna change today. I touch that memory of how I used to be. I ain't gonna fly away. I ain't gonna fly away. I gotta get it back. I gotta get it back from this altered state of authenticity. I ain't gonna fly away. It's all gonna change today. I touch the memory of how I used to be. I ain't gonna fly away. I ain't gonna fly away. Yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna get it wrong. I ain't gonna fly away. It's all gonna change today. I touch the memory of how I used to be. I ain't gonna fly away. I ain't gonna fly away. I gotta get it back. I gotta get it back. I gotta get it back from this altered state of authenticity.
Oh, make some noise! Woo! Mate, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, you should put your fingers in your ears because your head will grow.
Yeah.
And Oh, absolutely brilliant. And we're going to come straight back to after this next song. This is American Dream, Casting Crown.
Pad. Sorry. Emma,
Well,
Emma,
you know
Pad.
what?
I'm still changing tape.
he's
Sorry.
still changing-
I was listening
Move
to
on.
Jimmy. I was so
Luke's
enjoying
saying,
it.
move on,
He's
move
so
on. And
enjoying
Rick's
it.
just in the zone because it was just so good. Can I just read this out? Because the lovely Tony Cummings himself, Cross
Yes.
Rhythms, and he says, nothing quite prepared me for this tremendous album.
I know, he's great.
Demetrios' blue-eyed soul stylings ooze authority.
I love Tony.
Funky with deft tones of jazz pop and old school R&B and funk, and that is so true.
Yes, good padding though. That was a good bit of padding.
See, I can pad all day long. Normally it's like, get her off, she's talking too much. Are you
I'm ready now.
Are
yeah,
you ready, Rick,
I've
now?
got it in the slot now.
Oh, see, Rick's
Don't tell him anymore.
Rick's had a
He's
busy
getting to
week.
his head, isn't it? This is American Dream
We
Casting Crown.
loved
Here we go.
it.
It's
We
on
loved
now.
it. That was Jimmy K
See
from...
I have to change glasses to answer that question. I have to wear these ones.
Oh, so it's nice
Okay.
and cute now.
No, I'll take them off. Basically, Dimitri comes from it's a Greek name, Demetrios.
Right.
And my mum, right, she told me the story that when she was pregnant with me, I've got this birthmark, right? I have to show you my
Do we
little-
have to see it?
I have to show
Do
you.
we have
So
to?
I'm not going to show any underwear, so I'm all right. Okay. You see that? See that there?
Is that it? Is that
On
it?
camera. See that little thing there? That there.
It's
Yeah.
tiny,
See
isn't
it?
Like the size of a finger, isn't
Yeah,
it? Really?
it's basically like a little dent.
Yeah.
And apparently, my mum said when she was pregnant with me, she had this dream, and in Cypriot kind of religious kind of circles, you've got this kind of St George figure. It's called St Demetrios, right? It's the same kind of idea, it's a guy on a horse with a spear killing a serpent. And she said in her dream, she was told by an angel, right? This is absolutely true. Of course it would be. That because she was going to call me something else like Papadopoulos or something. I don't know quite what she was going to call me. But
Isn't that in EastEnders?
probably.
Yeah.
He probably got my name actually. No. So she was going to call me this other weird Greek name, and she had this dream, and an angel said to her, "No, you will call him after Saint Demetrios. So
Yeah.
his name will be Demetrios." And she said that he touched my arm in her dream, and when I was born, I had this mark on my arm.
Wow.
So it's kind of been like this bit of a weird kind of badge. In the Saint Demetrius thing, and Demetrius is this dragon slayer, the killer of the serpent.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
And we like to give away freebies, don't we, on the dream? So if you are watching... Okay.
oh, missus! Oh,
What's going on with my voice? Anyway, we've got some free copies, and the lovely Jimmy K has said we can give these away. So what I want to know, Jimmy, is can you give the viewers at home a question? So we're not going to make it that easy for them because there's only a few, and I know loads of people are going to want it. What is the question that you're going to ask the viewers at home in order to win this?
right. What was Leonardo da Vinci thinking when he painted the Mona Lisa?
I
What's
know.
that?
I know. No, I'm joking.
But you're going to get a free album anyway.
What's the real question?
Oh, don't you want that one? You want another one, do
we
you?
want an easier one. We
All
want an easier one than that one.
Where was I born?
Where were you born? So this is for the hardcore viewers who've been watching.
You can get it on a website. If you come to the website.
I was going to ask
There
you
you go.
about that.
Yeah.
What is your website?
www.
Where?
Dimitri hyphen, that's a little one of those
Dash.
things, online.com.
Brilliant. And you do need to put that in because I tried putting it in one of those like wanna do things and it wouldn't come up.
No.
So you have to know it.
Also, if you just type in Dimitri or Natural High, which is the name of the album, on any web search, you'll get stacks of stuff on us. So
superb. So you at home can win this. You need to email in your name and an address, and the winner of the question of where does Jimmy K, well, where does he come from? Where were you brought up? You can win this. Brilliant. Well, Lucy West, do us the honours, being my co-presenter. Can you introduce this next track for us?
Well, this is a track I love actually because it is Third Day and it's called Your Love, Oh Lord. Fantastic.
I have like a couple of CDs to give out, so that'd be cool.
There we go.
But remember, Natural High. Woohoo! By the lovely chocolate-faced Jimmy K. Look at it. What is he like? This is what happens when you get tired. You get totally delirious, don't you? We've got quite a few.
We don't
copies
mention
of
that
this.
name.
So, Jimmy, have you had a good time?
I've had a great time.
Brilliant. He's really excited because he's allowed to eat chocolates now because you're not meant to before singing, are you?
But I can't mention what chocolates there are. Can I?
No, not really.
Oh, they're nice chocolates.
But we
though.
do it anyway,
Yeah.
but don't.
Chocolates.
Oh, sweetheart. Well, you know what? Next week, which is quite interesting because Lucy was telling us about how she used to be in a band called Vienna, which was part of the Innovation Trust. Next week, we have the Innovation Trust